Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. In this video, I'll be going through my AFL fantasy, the trade targets for round 7. Obviously, we had the live stream last night for the Supercoach 1, so I won't be doing a exclusive video as we got through pretty much everything in general for that. But anyway, before we jump into this video, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and let's jump into this video. So, we briefly touched on it last night with the fantasy trade-ins. One guy that I just realized that this might give away my trades a little bit, and I want to save that video. So let me just quickly roll back the trades, as it is a little bit of a wild one. But anyway, back to it. So it gave away my rookie, but in general, that could go either way, depending on team lineups. This is a lot of this at this point in the year is team dependent based, because a lot of these guys get opportunities due to injuries. And some injuries are 1-2 weeks, some injuries 4 to 5, and obviously some season enders. So you've got guys like Carroll and Tunstall who are both playing off the back of sort of that 3-4 week injuries, which are almost the most annoying to judge. So Tunstall should get a run in the side, an extended run, but Cowan is listed as an emergency. And I don't know if he will, sorry, no, that's not right. Cowan is listed as a test for this week, not an emergency. So yeah, it could be that Cowan comes into the side, and that means the likes of Carroll get straight back into the VFL, and that doesn't really help them out, or their case at least in general. So that would be really annoying. But Tunstall could be almost the same as well. Kitty Coleman's 1 to 2 weeks away, but you would expect them to really take the long version or long approach with Kitty Coleman and give him a couple weeks in the VFL just to sort of revamp up and get some match simulation in, because he basically, or some match practice in, match fitness. He hasn't played in, what is it now? About 40 games he's missed or something like that. He's missed about 25, 26 for Brisbane last year, and already 6 this year. So he's at 31 games missed. He's still projected to miss another 1 to 2, which would get him to like 33 or something missed. And then you'd expect him to have a couple in the VFL. So he probably ends up with 35 missed or so games overall before he gets back into the side. So that's why I think Tunstall could have still 3 to 4 weeks of cash generation potential. And that's why I think he's the number 1 rookie this week, just because of that Cowan going from 3 to 5 to test straight. Like, that is just way too much of a leap, I think, to really, for Carroll's job security. It just probably plummeted a little bit. Durden, I don't rate in total, 4 of 20k already, so he's a massive price anyway. And then I think he just has a bad game in general sometime soon. And then Will White, 360k. I'd just much rather spend 100k less on James Tunstall, who is probably going to do roughly the same anyway. And you'll get them, that 100k goes a long way in the long run. Harry Boyd still not getting on anytime soon, it looks like. Riley Bice is probably coming near enough to the end of his cash generation. He's starting to only probably gain, so I say that, he had gained 86 last week, 355k on the year. He's probably going to gain another 65k next week, but you can see only probably another, he's probably going to tap out at 120, 130k more, which would be 705, 750k, somewhere in that region, which is absolutely huge for cash generation. But unless he gets another spurt with Sydney just kicking the ball around the back, I don't think that he's going to be a guy that's going to be a keeper in fantasy, to be honest with you, because he's played 4 full games now and he averages in that 88 or something like that, which just isn't keeper level. Brock, Camporelli, Warner, Cochrane as well, 11 break even. He should beat that comfortably. And then you'd expect Caden Cleary to bounce back. He had a shocking game in terms of just non-disposal work. Tackles down to 0 is pretty surprising for him. You'd expect Swans only laid 42 tackles in the game, and 24 of them were from 6 guys. 11 guys only had 0 or 1 tackle. So you'd expect a really big response here from Sydney. Their tackling has been woeful, as well as their ball use. So I expect a big bounce back game from them. And then a rookie just to watch, because we've had some debuts named. We've had 2 guys named. If we go to, one's been officially named and one's been unofficially named, I would call it in a way. If we go playing, you'll see Campbell Gray is named for his debut. I think he's more key defender as well. So I think we've got 2 key defenders in Buslinger and Campbell Gray. Spoiler a little bit if you haven't been keeping up, but yeah, Campbell Gray with that defender forward eligibility could be interesting, but I just don't think he does extremely well. I think the points go to Luke Traynor. And then you've also got, as I said, Jeb Buslinger, who is a guy that's just racking up the pill in Footscray's VFL. So I expect him to do really, really well actually here. And so I expect him to be a guy that could end up averaging sort of 60, 65, even as a key defender. And that would be huge for cash generation. Maybe next week you move on from a Reed or a Trainer and you move to that sort of 2 or 1 defender rookies. And that's the way you get, that you get up to maybe even a Lockie Whitfield or something like that at that point. But we'll just have to wait and see how that flows out. But yeah, definitely looking at those 2 guys' progress and just seeing if they put up a decent game and are worthwhile, because obviously it looks like that's a Sam Darcy replacement Buslinger. We'll have to double check when team lists come out later today. But that's my sort of general thoughts on that. And then we go to coach's choice, and this is where chaos is happening, almost in a way. Tunstall, obvious rookie, we talk about him. Nick Dacos, a lot of people didn't jump on him last week. And he's gone 136, 131, and Essendon, they can tag him all they want, but he's gone through 2 of the better taggers in James Jordan and also Jared Berry. Jared Berry sat on him for a quarter and he still scored like 30-something points. So yeah, I don't think Durham's going to do much. And then he has his run just starts to open up completely. Like, yes, they could put O'Connor onto him. Atkins could sort of tag, but I don't think that'll do much against Geelong. And then he has Fremantle. If we look at opposition stats, Geelong, he averages 96, Fremantle 113. So yeah, and that Geelong, does he have an injured game in that Geelong subset? That could be definitely intriguing to look at. But yeah, he averages really good against every opponent now, pretty much, other than Carlton, Hawthorn, and even Sydney now after that game. It's jumped up a lot. But definitely a guy I'd be targeting if you don't already have him. Carroll, up there with a lot of people going Tunstall over Carroll just because he's got that mid forward, which gives us a lot more flexibility, alongside the fact that Carroll, there's a little bit more job security risk, I think, with him. Then you've got Gawn, 102. He's averaging for the year. He's really started to turn it around. And he's got Richmond, West Coast, Hawthorn in the next 3. He could easily get back above that 1.05 million. And that's where you really start to struggle to get guys up to him, etc. So yeah, definitely a guy you could jump on this week. Petrarca, I'm not so happy on him, I would say. He's got a high of a 104 and a 100 after that as well against Essendon and Fremantle. Melbourne definitely look better. Like, they definitely look better in the last couple of weeks. But he just hasn't got that really breakout potential ability, it doesn't feel like, Petrarca. So it doesn't feel like he's going to hurt us if you don't own. Like, he's got an 87 break even, so it's not like he's going to get away from us. Even if he scores a 130, which I don't expect him to. I expect him to score sort of 120s. If he scores a 130... he beats his break even, I think, by, like, let's actually just do this on DFS and just look at Petrarca's, if he was to beat his break even and somewhat, let's just go to Petrarca here. Petrarca, if he was to score a 130, say just a 130 there, he goes up 34k. That is nothing. But yeah, if he is to just score 100 for the next 3 weeks here, we just go here and just bump that up to 100 for the next 3 weeks. He goes up 10, 15, 13k and is 928k in general after that run. So I'm willing to wait a week on Petrarca because I don't see that big upside game potential for him. And I think there's other guys that are potentially a lot more of a candidate for being that big breakout game. Well, not breakout, but big scoring potential difference maker. Long, I don't think he necessarily scores too well. If we look at when he has been effectively sub, let's put it that way. Effectively sub is 2 games for 61 out of the 6. So take out the 61 there, and you got him at 347 divided by 4. That is only 86 or 87. Like, yes, that's still a plus 25 on his price point, but like, you're just getting a guy that I think rookies like Busling is priced at 23 or whatever, and he's projected to go 60, 65. That's plus 40. That's a lot better than a plus 25 on Ned Long. Campbell Gray, obviously some people taking the punt early, but I wouldn't. Lockie Ash is someone I've looked at. I just don't know if he has that big scoring potential in him. Like, there's that downside risk of a 63, and I don't know if he has much more than sort of that 118, 120. Whereas I feel like there's other guys here that take up potentially the new number 1 role at their club and have the potential for that 150, 160 big bomb game that can just really be a difference maker. I talked about Piggott, but when you look at his underlying numbers when he has played as a 40, 50% CBA midfielder in the past, he hasn't scored the greatest. He averages, I think, 85, 84. So I'm just wondering if you take out, let's just say he averages 20 and 1. That sort of Chad Warner, Isaac Heaney, Dacos, Bond, that top line midfield forward type of guy. 20 and 1. Say this all holds, right? And he's averaging 101.3 as a forward in 3 games from 7 goals, 5. Say he averages 1 goal 1 per game, which is, I think, roughly what he could do. He might even do a little bit more than that, but that is what I think he could do. Then that takes away 4 goals too. That is 26 points. Take 26 points away, and he's suddenly down at 278. 278 is an average of 93. So Piggott 93, 780k. I just don't know if he has that big potential of like that 130 game. Like I was almost saying with Lockie Ash, is that I almost see a similar thing with Piggott, and obviously he's 150k cheaper than Lockie Ash, I think. Let me just double check that. Yeah, he's about 150k cheaper than Ash. So he'd obviously, that's 15 points cheaper effectively. So he does have that that extra, you get spare cash out of it. So it's, I would almost say, better than Ash. But I'm just worried that he regresses just a little bit. He does have Richmond and also Eagles in the next couple. But if you look at long run, I'm not necessarily so sure about it. Then you got Whitfield, a 110, plays the Bulldogs and Sydney. Sydney, they'll probably look to tag him, but he'll probably still do well. His lowest is an 86 and then a 99, so he's just doing his thing. I'm going to probably look to bring him in a couple of weeks' time. Boxall as well. He is priced at 230k as well. He looks to be a guy that's debuting, but I haven't heard official news about it. I think some people are just jumping on because it sounds like he could be debuting, but obviously we'll see if that is the case. I haven't heard anything completely about that. Let's actually just go to this because, yeah, obviously there is the news about Buslinger. Let's just see Hugh Boxall. Nothing official about Hugh Boxall. Yeah. There's a lot of people saying, yeah, he has to play, but he could not. Like, that's just the grand scheme of things, that he might not play. So you'd wait a week, I feel like, with him, because he's the type of guy that I feel like could be a sub candidate as well, or a sub out candidate. Buslinger, people jumping on early. Bontempelli, I understand that as well. He started a house on fire, but it's only 1 game. I'd rather him. He's still got a 115 break even. If he goes 88, like if he goes 90-90 Bont or something, or even just goes, say, 100-100, let's just double check this. 100-100, and he drops down to 1.06 million. So that is a further 47k cheaper than you can get him if he just goes 100-100. Say he has a bad game in this round here and goes 90, then that suddenly goes down to 1.04 million, and suddenly you're getting him even cheaper. So I just wait on Bont a couple weeks for him to normalize. Then my big guy for the round actually is Jai Newcombe. Connor Nash has gone down. Jai Newcombe's a guy that needs to probably step it up with Will Day's absence as well. He's got West Coast, Richmond, and Melbourne in the next 3. If we go to here, he's going to be, I think, my poster boy for the week in terms of trading, guys. Because if we look at season-long matchups, and I'm just going to go till the bye here. Till the inside mids, till the... Oh, man. Again, I've got to... but I can just show you this in general. But if we go to Hawthorn, I wish I had the ability to... And I'll show this in, I think, later this week. Yeah, Hawthorn, look at this run here. They've got this run here, which is a really decent enough run. Then they have Collingwood, Western Bulldogs, Adelaide during the bye. That's not the greatest run during the bye, but he should get these 4 weeks basically unimpeded with him being the senior player. And West Coast, Richmond don't really tag, well, they try to with McIntosh, but I don't know if they'll necessarily tag Newcombe. But yeah, I think he's a guy that I'm willing to take the risk on at the moment at 958k. He's still averaging a ton this year, but has had a couple of low games, but he has that ability to go absolutely mega. And he's just coming into an absolute kind run where he had a 118 against Geelong on only 28 touches and only 7 kicks. If he even flips that to 14-14, that's a 125. So yeah, if he can get his kicks up into the mid double digits in the mid teens, then he's going to go 130, I think. He's got that tackling ability. He takes a lot of marks. Hawthorn do a lot of chipping as well, chip it around a lot. I just think he could do really, really well in the next 2 or 3 weeks as he's got some mega matchups. So that's my sort of poster boy this week. Elijah Hewitt, if you wanted a rookie 403k, could you almost go Elijah Hewitt as well instead of a... the problem is he's gone 77. He hasn't actually taken the sort of that big leap of being able to score 120 or whatever as an example. His highest is a 77, but his other games are a 47 and a 53. It's not like Supercoach where he scored a 97 and still basically rookie priced. This guy's priced at 40. And I just don't think there's value there compared to other guys. Some people bring in Sanders. I wouldn't do that. His role still looks really, really weird and awkward, and I just feel like he might score well for the next couple of weeks and be a guy that I can use as a trade out in the coming weeks, but not a guy that I'm looking at and going, I need to trade him out immediately, or trade him. Well, I have him, but not a guy I'm looking to trade out. But if I didn't have him, I wouldn't be trading him in anyway as well. And then that's pretty much it. Some people bring in Flynn. He did score 97, averaging 85, but he's priced at 66. You're only getting 19 points upside on his average. I wouldn't go there. And then that's pretty much it. It feels like the outs this week. Trainer, I understand this as well. I've sort of flirted with him going out as well, but I just don't feel really confident in any of the guys to really upgrade him to. Marias, definitely a guy I've also looked at. 52 break even. It doesn't feel like he's going to make too much cash. He's just struggling to get a lot of the ball. Really struggled in the second half of that game against Sydney. So definitely a guy I'd look to move on. Tom De Koning has a really good matchup against Geelong. I don't know what he scored last year against them. But if we just go to... can I actually do this the quick way? Where's Carlton? Carlton over here. Let's go to Carlton. And then we go to... hit out. We'll get it to Koning. What is his last score against the likes of a... have they added VFL? Is that VFL or something? That could be VFL. That could be interesting to look at. But anyway, I'll look at that in my break here. But in the last matchup against Geelong, he went 131. And we don't expect Pitnet to play. So expect big things out of the likes of Tom De Koning. And that was also in a game that he played on... Well, don't tell me he played on Toby Conway, but please tell me he played... Who did he play on? He played on his brother and Blicavs, both. I don't know if we expect Stanley to play, but yeah, that'll be interesting there just to watch that space. As if we go to... it's not going to give me it, but I can do it this way, in a way. If we go to the ruck matchups, you will see that Geelong are still considered a dark green matchup. So yeah, there's that. So it's still considered a dark green matchup. Then he has Adelaide, St Kilda, Sydney, GWS, and the bye. So he's actually got a pretty kind fixture to the bye. And that's when I would start to consider trading him to the likes of a of the likes of a Cherry, because they will probably be around the same price. And Cherry's run just opens up massively, even though he's got the Essendon game where he should just run rampant. But yeah, I would be looking at trading the likes of a TDK after his buy near enough, or somewhere around that marker. But anyway, that's the video there. If you did enjoy it, remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you back here in a little bit for my team reveal for Supercoach and Fantasy. So I'll see you guys then. Bye, guys.